let's play this clip of Rebekah Jones recording. Rebekah Jones is a scientist who had been, I think, in the administration. I'll just read this from the Sun Sentinel. This is, there was a Sun Sentinel, this is a Florida paper, investigation that found that Governor Ron DeSantis and his administration had been misleading the public about the COVID crisis from the beginning. This is according to thousands of pages of documents, 50 interviews conducted by the Sun Sentinel. The governor and his team have done it through misinformation and spin, as well as by muzzling local health officials across the state. And the Sun Sentinel did this investigation essentially, and basically it is what it is, that you had the Florida state government trying to hide the implications of the COVID crisis through data. And so there was this data scientist who decided to basically do a COVID data page, if you will. And here is Florida armed authorities raiding her house to get her computers and her phones to find out who she's been talking to present this COVID data.
This is crazy.
Come outside. Outside.
Who else is in the house, ma'am?
My 2 children and my husband.
Where's your husband at?
Calm down. Calm down.
You want the children down?
Call them all down.
Mr. Jones, come down the stairs.
He's got a
now.
gun, incidentally.
Police, come down now.
Search warrant.
Bring your
Come down the
children.
stairs.
My children!
Clinton, hang on. Let me clear
He
behind you.
just pointed a gun at my children!
Search warrant.
That's the way they went in to find out where she's getting her data that is revealing the truth about COVID in Florida. Here she is on Chris Cuomo's show on CNN, describing the whole episode.
I actually think that they're not after me. They didn't take the router in my house. They didn't take a number of laptops in the house that belonged to my son or my husband that could have easily done whatever it is that they think happened. They took my phone and they took the computer that I use to run my companies. And on my phone is every communication I've ever had with someone who works at the state, who has come to me in confidence and told me things that could get them fired or in trouble like this. And I just want to say to all those people right now, if he doesn't know already, DeSantis will know soon enough that you've been talking to me. So be careful.
So there it is. She's a former data scientist in the Florida Department of Health, I think it was. And she has been talking to people that she knew there, getting the information on the COVID infections and hospitalizations, printing it on a website, and they're coming for those people.
So what's so crazy about this is whatever DeSantis is trying to do to protect himself, the cover up of it, these actions is far worse. I mean, he's going to be investigated and he'll probably not be in office in a year. That's my prediction on this. I think that is so egregious.
It feels like, to me, and I don't know under what auspices this would happen, but like, this is where like the DOJ comes in, right? And says, hey, wait a second.
Well, hopefully, I mean, I back
don't
to
worry,
our discussion.
Tom Perez will save us.
Back to our, discussion about
Doug Jones apparently is the front runner right now,
or Sally Yates, right? But I would expect that both of them, I think, would be interested in this kind of story. I mean, the terror in her voice when her house is being raided. This is just, if we heard about this in a different country, the entire populace or whoever heard about it would be like, oh, of course, that's how they do it in the uncivilized world. But under DeSantis, that's how authoritarians behave. And they've been emboldened by the national acceptance by a specific party of authoritarian tactics and everything that goes with it. And I mean, this is like, it seems like they have something to hide. They might have something to hide due to raiding a woman's home who was a former employee there, I believe, right? And was still had contacts with them. Yeah, they might have something to hide about their COVID deaths.
Last week, I interviewed the author Nina I'm going to butcher her last name, Lakshmi, who wrote about the death of Berta Casares. And so that was only a few days ago. And I had chills watching that video after reading her coverage and then seeing what happened under, like what you said, Emma. I mean, there's got to be an investigation after this. This is outrageous.
I mean, it's stunning. Good for her for recording it too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was.
Did she say anything about how she recorded it?
It looks like she put her like cell phone or something. I don't know how she recorded. That's a good question, actually.
Maybe she saw them coming. I mean, I'm assuming they didn't execute a no-knock warrant. She saw a bunch of cops there, and she knows what she's been doing has been pissing off the DeSantis administration and all the officials there. So, really heady play, as they'd say in football, right? Like heads up play. She rallied to the ball there.
And we should point out,
funny story.
We should point out for podcast listeners that after she says, "Yeah, just upstairs are my kids and my husband," the guy points his gun. The second cop points his gun up the stairs.
Really effed up. Speaking of effed up, this is happening in Michigan. It really, we say this all the time, but it really does feel like it's just a matter of time. I mean, there are, I'd be curious to start seeing polls now, like how many of Trump supporters are at this level of belief about the stolen election, right? And I guess we'll see them. They'll congregate at the rally that Trump has on the inauguration day.